Today is a good day. I woke up. Oh, would you look at that, actually. We're apparently starting off this game by sending an SCV right at the very start. I just woke up, went to the gym, opened up my email, and I found the GSL qualifier replays. Now, this is not a set of replays I was expecting whatsoever, but I'm very excited to find out exactly what ended up going down in this series. So, the GSL Code S, it's considered to be either like the most prestigious tournament in the entire game, or maybe the second most prestigious. Is always a little bit difficult to call exactly where the rankings of the different tournaments are at, but there's no denying that this is an important tournament, especially for the players over in Korea. Now, back in the day, it was only Koreans participating in this event. These days, alright, we've got a few non-Koreans always trying it as well. So, this is a best of 3 series, a qualifying match, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on the map Babylon. And spotting right here in the top left-hand corner, playing with the blue Terran SCVs, we have SpeCial. And his opponent in the opposite corner with the red Zerg drones. She goes by the name of Scarlett. Alrighty. Apparently, we've got ourselves a hatchery first versus a triple Rex proxy. Now, in order to play the GSL Code S, you do actually have to be there in Korea. So both of these players, I know that Scarlett was over in Sweden a couple of days ago when I was there as well. Anyway, she was playing in a tournament. SpeCial decided to stay at home and not try his hand at the open bracket. Either way, I wonder if that affects her at all, right? Because, yeah, you have to actually go to a place in Korea. I don't really know exactly where it's at, but you have to play the qualifiers in person, and that is certainly a little bit different. Scarlett actually had the Overlord heading on over in the right direction, but she does not see the barracks. Okay. So this all comes down to the crisis management right now. SpeCial, sending in the SCVs first, and this is really all that Scarlett needs to see. He could even decide to target fire down the Overlord, but I think actually keeping the Overlord around here for now is okay, as long as it can go on top of that pillar here eventually. Roach Warren has been planted down, well, upon seeing this, as quickly as possible, second gas as well. All of this is a big indicator that Scarlett is giving up on the natural. So if you see this coming in, right, and you know that there's cheese coming, you can sort of try and at least defend it with a bunch of Zerglings, maybe pull a couple drones. But when there's already Marines in your natural, I actually really like this decision here from SpeCial. Giving up on the nat is probably the best choice you can make. SpeCial knows that the odds of him getting the natural are very big, and actually this is an excellent surround right now, although most of the Marines do manage to get out. SCVs here, okay, they at the very least will get sniped. Some of the Marines will also die. But the chances of this natural surviving this entire situation, they are rather small. That said though, I mean, yeah, quite a few worker losses on both sides. If Scarlett can make enough roaches and just break through that bunker in her natural, she's saving up some energy here as well on one of those queens, so actually on both of the queens, we're gonna have some transfusions available. Yeah, SpeCial is reading the same game as I am. He decides to get on out of there, so even though I kind of like the way that he first went into the main base, the way he got surrounded by those drones was certainly suboptimal, and that now puts the Canadian Zerg here in a fantastic position. Okay, so a little bit of cheese to start off. 2 of the barracks are going to be flying back home. 1 of the wrecks will be used right here for scouting, and SpeCial wants to see how many drones there actually are. How many workers will be produced here by the Zerg player, right? So just looking at the cocoon, kind of nice. It's not like you can really make use of all of these barracks anyways. And honestly, you could always fly it back home right now, yeah. Take a little bit of a beating, then fly it back. Okay, roaches are in the meantime on the other side. No Overlord over here on that high ground, so I actually think that this bunker is going to be a-okay. Quite a few SCVs, though, still end up going down. Bit of a missed target right there by Scarlett, accidentally hitting the supply depot there, rather than the units. In the end, all of this will be cleaned up. And I guess we're now playing a little bit of a macro game. Yeah. So we've got 2 command centers right here on the production tab. There's really not a whole lot that Zerg can do to end this game anytime soon. And whenever you have time as a Terran, making orbital commands and dropping down those mules is usually the right choice. SpeCial, not entirely sure if he needs to, make more units here for base defense. I wouldn't even really mind it if he... Okay, actually, I was gonna say if he decided to go straight into the add-ons, but the gases here are so late that he doesn't actually have any resources available yet to build any tech labs or any reactors. We'll be seeing those very soon, though. Okay. Yeah, that barracks over here is still just scouting around. It's actually very tanky. You don't quite realize that, but when it's up in the air like this, queens just don't really do a lot of damage. When you see queens fighting oracles or banshees or whatever, right? They always seem to deal a ton of damage, but turns out barracks, they actually take quite a while to kill, so SpeCial is getting all the information that he needs. Double tech lab right now in the main base. We have a reactor coming up too. It's a strong opener, especially if you can deal a bunch of damage. In this particular case though, SpeCial certainly is behind. And really, from the Zerg's point of view, right, there's really only one follow-up that Terran can reliably do, and that is a marine attack, at least a marine-based attack with Stimpack and combat shields. So SpeCial is going to be starting up both of those upgrades. He doesn't really have anywhere to go with this particular opener. So he's going to need to start, yeah, taking some risks. Zerg going for the lair, going for the double evolution chamber, link speed coming up eventually too. Curious to see if Scarlett is going to stick around on Roach Ravager. I honestly wouldn't mind that at all. Just, well, Roach Ravager would do very well. She could always just go into Ling Bane too and just use these roaches early on. Maybe more for a couple of Ravagers, something along those lines. Carapace starts up right away. The main risk here for Scarlett is that she overdrones. So there's a moment where you want to stop droning. We are now at, well, 57 workers when these three finish up. I think this may very well be the time where we just want to start making a whole lot. No, apparently she disagrees. I was thinking maybe that's already the time to just start making a whole lot of army and go for a big attack when those upgrades finish up. The most classical Zerg timing attack would be +1 roaches with +1 armor as well, and then roach speed. You can line up all of those upgrades wonderfully. And it hits like an absolute truck. It's very difficult for Terran to hold in a normal game, and in a game like this where Terran's already behind, yeah, I don't really see how SpeCial would be able to hold on, but apparently Scarlett is a little bit concerned. There are a few siege tank positions that are very dangerous, but I mean, she could hit in about a minute from now with an attack like that. There's gonna be Marines and Marauders. Yeah, Scarlett, I mean, she obviously is better at the game than me. She decides to not take any chances. So, 4th hatchery coming up. The Baneling speed here has been fired up as well. We're gonna just morph all of those roaches into Ravagers, and now we're gonna be playing a Ling Bane on the back of it. All things considered though, nice recovery here so far by SpeCial. He doesn't have a whole lot of things going for himself, but yeah, this army is still looking quite menacing. We don't have Baneling speed yet. If there is a time to come back into the game, I think it's right now. Problem is, every single Stimpack here is gonna hurt. There's no Medivacs to heal this up. And because of that, yeah, it's gonna have to retreat. Scarlett actually just playing incredibly safe. Would you look at that? So this is the qualification match, right? It's very important that you win this best of 3 if you want to be part of the GSL Code S. So Scarlett apparently, yeah, crossing her T's, dotting her I's, not taking any chances whatsoever. I mean, she just flew halfway across the world to be able to participate in this qualifier. May as well play it as safely as possible. I do wonder, though, if this is maybe a little bit overly safe, right? Because there was such a significant advantage early on. Now SpeCial is going to have a chance to get back into the game. Okay. SpeCial is going to see this. The margin for error is still tiny, of course. But still a significant advantage for Zerg. +2/+2 has started up right around the same time as a 1-1 for the Terran, right? So, fantastic situation as far as that goes. Scarlett also has all of the tech. She's got all of the workers. She's got all of the creep spread. She's got all of, well, whatever she needs. Apparently, this is the time where we are going to go for a bit of aggression. But if you look at the supply counts right now, they're not looking nearly as bad as they did earlier on in this game. SpeCial trying his very best to just turtle his way out of this, right? He doesn't really have that much. Baneling's coming in from the north as well, trying to go after the SCVs. This main army mostly does a distraction. Good pull right there, though, by the Mexican Terran. Still no Medivacs, right? So, yeah, Medivacs, there's 2 out right now, but they're finally available. Certainly not enough energy on those planes at this point to heal up all of those Terran units. Okay, Scarlett going into the hive here. She's got a macro hatchery as well, 93 drones. Okay, this is, yeah, as safe as you can possibly be. Constantly attacking right there also sort of allows her to check and keep that Terran player honest. Because if you're not attacking at all, there could, for example, be a transition towards, I don't know, a bunch of battle cruisers, right? Every StarCraft player has had games like that, where suddenly you're winning the entire game long, and suddenly there's like a dozen Void Rays, or suddenly there's like 4 battle cruisers, and you're like, ah, okay, I don't have a counter against those units. So attacking at least a little bit there ensures that SpeCial is making non-stop units that Scarlett is going to be able to counter relatively easily. Sorry about that, Jimmy. I think you got targeted by your friends. They never liked you anyways. Okay, Hive coming up. Adrenal Glands in the main. It's not going to finish though. Yeah, the Marines are going to be able to target that spawning pool down pretty easily. This must be a frustrating game as well for SpeCial though, right? So SpeCial was planning on winning this game at the 3-minute mark. And now he has to play a best-of-3 series. I mean, it's not like he was ever in a situation where he needed to GG out either. But he must realize that the odds of him coming back really do rely mostly on the Zerg making a major screw-up. Okay. Roaches in the main, defending against the drop. Marines over here over at the 3rd base too. And we do have a very significant attack now. Going through the center of the map now. There's a handful of scans available. 4th command center has started up. Okay. Careful now. Yeah, you're so deep onto creep. Okay, well, apparently Scarlett helping out a little bit as far as the creep situation goes. Drop over here. Gets cleaned up. Drop over here. I mean, there's 1 Marine available still. This base all the way at the bottom. It's gonna be difficult to snipe that though. Zerg instead coming in from the side right now. Can we have some corrosive balls on the siege tanks? We don't even really need them. Reinforcing Terran units just step onto the creep. And there's the GG. Next up, Gresven. This is the map that we saw vetoed pretty much every single time by Zerg players at the ESL event a couple of days ago. The problem with this map is that if it goes to the late game, it's very difficult for the Zerg to take one of the Terran's bases. Generally speaking, this map is pretty easy for the Terran to force a split map scenario, and we've seen a lot of long games. I actually played one, well, as of me casting this, I don't know exactly when I'll be publishing this video, but I played like a 52-minute long game yesterday, where I was losing for the last, I want to say 35 minutes. But essentially what the Terrans do is they don't actually attack until their entire side of the map is mined out. I think it was Spirit who really popularized that strategy. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it's Maru that started doing it. At the very least, I've seen Spirit perfect this strategy where he goes for this. Maybe I shouldn't be giving him the credit. I actually don't know. But I saw Spirit doing this first time. So I guess, you know, in my mind, he's the one that came up with it. Anyways, he's been going for a 4th command center over here with a planetary fortress. And then we have usually a planetary over here, a planetary over here, and the left side of the map just becomes accessible. And you go, command center, command center, command center, command center, command center. And then you think, okay, maybe you can go for a Nidus Worm. But no, usually there's another planetary fortress in the main base too. A ring of missile turrets. Oh, yeah. This game, man. This game actually, or this map rather, in this matchup has been incredibly frustrating to me. Now, because of that, the times we have seen this particular map in a Terran versus Zerg, Zergs have been cheesing every single time. And apparently Scarlett is no different here. Actually, not every single time. I think I casted it. We watched one game of Solar going up against a Terran player, and Solar decided to play a macro game. But, you know, that's Solar. Basically everybody else from Serral to Raynor, apparently now also Scarlett, has been cheesing this map. We've got a double barracks opener right here on the front of the Terran's natural. He's got to be making a command center on the back of this, but the Roach Warren's already done. Now, how committed is Scarlett gonna be to this particular attack? Because if you're committing to this much gas, this many roaches, you really have to deal some sort of damage. I actually don't really know how this is gonna line up though, because sure, SpeCial's opening up with Reapers, but usually it's only gonna be about 3 of them. He's gonna see the roaches here right away. Good pullback right there as well with that Reaper. I actually don't think this is necessarily bad right here for the Terran. Yeah, as long as he gets like enough defenses out, a bunker or 2. Or we're gonna make a, oh, okay. We're gonna make a bunker out front. That makes sense, I suppose. Otherwise, the Roaches and the Ravagers are gonna be knocking on your barracks. This way, at the very least, as long as you finish the bunker, you can probably keep it alive. Oh, don't lose the Overlord, though. Losing the Overlord here would be game over for the Zerg. Scarlett, of course, 1-0 ahead right now in this best of 3. She's got a little bit of wiggle room. It's also very expected, though, I think, for Terrans. Like, if you are playing a series right now at the pro level and you're a Terran player, I think you should basically expect there to be cheese on Both Neo-Humanity as well as Grisfin. Great micro right here, coming out of SpeCial. Good grenades as well. Reapers do manage to stick around, and with some good grenades, yeah, they can still really slow down the advancement here of this Zerg attack. So far, this is excellently done right here by SpeCial. There's no link speed or anything like that. Scarlett is going completely all in with this, by the way, so she's got 16 drones, and that's it. I wouldn't even mind seeing a second bunker right over here or so. Okay, good grenades once again. Just dealing some damage, softening up these units. Cyclone on the back of this, by the way. And now we're gonna have double orbital command available here too for the Terran player. So, as long as there's double orbital, we're gonna be seeing double mule as well. And double mule is gonna be amazing when it comes to that income. Yeah, so this is the build that Bjorn has been playing a lot in pretty much every single game. Bjorn has been going for this exact opener. Now, we do have 7 biles here coming up at some point. Alright, I think it's 7 biles to one shot of bunker. So eventually this will get destroyed. There's that Cyclone though. Second Cyclone has been fired up as well. It's important not to go into a siege tank here, even though that does feel like the natural response. SpeCial not prepared actually with a supply depot. That one is going to be starting up, so he actually decides to be a little bit more aggressive now. One way to not be supply blocked is to lose units. The Marine count is looking quite menacing though. There's no link speed. I mean, it starts up right now. Good split offs, good micro right there. Excellent control right here by SpeCial. Scarlett trying her best here, but it's certainly not gonna be easy. And now it's time for SpeCial to go straight across the map. Fighting on creep is gonna make things a little bit easier, but if you look at the worker count right now, we're at 34 SCVs versus 19 drones. Yeah, Scarlett decided to put all of her eggs in one basket. I don't think this is gonna work out particularly well, unless she gets like a massive surround on all of these Terran units, and the links just catch the Terran here off guard. There's a chance, but good control there as well. I mean, Scarlett tried to morph in a Ravager there, but not gonna happen. At least one of the Cyclones eventually falls, but it's been an incredibly cost-efficient trade already for the Terran player. Oh, Reaper. Oh, trying to get that Ravager cocoon. Queen eventually does fall as well, and honestly, I just don't see a way out of this for Scarlett. Even if she cleans all of this up, right? Which maybe she will at some point, that's fair enough. But now we're playing a game against a macro Terran. Banshee is coming up. We still have that barracks production on the other side. Another Cyclone also coming in. SpeCial could very easily transition right now towards anything, right? Just a marine attack or a +1 infantry push. He could be going mech as well. He could force the game to go to distance if he really wants to. Scarlett is probably thinking the same thing. There's really no way that she's gonna be able to get back in the game. So rather than playing it out, she decides to tap out. All right. Royal Blood. We're 2 for 2 so far as cheese goes. Both of the games we've seen so far have had some sort of aggression. Oh no, it's just gonna be a low ground Wolof. I was gonna say, as soon as I see an SCV move, I always think it's gonna be proxy barracks, but I guess these days Terrans like to, well, quote-unquote proxy their barracks in their own natural expansion, which is fair enough. I'm assuming this will be a hatchery first right now from Scarlett. Seems to be her go-to build order in almost every single game, unless she's got very precise cheese planned. I'm actually thinking of copying that previous strategy we just now saw from Scarlett as well, on Grisfin, because I've actually been vetoing the map. Like, after that game yesterday, after that game I just talked about, right, that 52-minute long, whatever it was, absolute disaster of a Zerg versus Terran, I decided to veto Grisfin. Now, I like Grisfin for the other matchups, but Zerg versus Terran on that map, man, it's tricky. Double gas on the back of this for SpeCial. Interesting. So what exactly is the plan? Are we gonna saturate them right away as well? Yeah, we sure are. So this certainly does mean that Scarlett is gonna play against a tech-heavy Terran style. When are we gonna make the command center, right? That's the main question here. We're definitely gonna have to make some sort of tech before we, I mean, we're gonna have to go orbital here. We're not gonna have any money. Yeah, okay, we're gonna go for a second supply depot here before a command center too. I guess we'll be adding on a factory here momentarily. It's gonna be kind of difficult for the Zerg to read this, though. Unless the factory's built right over here. It is. Okay, no. It's not gonna be difficult at all for the Zerg player to read this. Scarlett comes flying in right now. She's looking for a second barracks. Instead, what she sees, here, she clicked on it right there. She sees a factory coming up. Single Reaper, double Reaper. Okay, I don't really know exactly what this build from SpeCial is gonna be like, but I think the main thing that Scarlett needs to do is not make a third. Don't make... No. I don't think this is a game where you want to make a third. This is 1 base Terran going up against 2 base Zerg. I think you're just fine playing 2 base Zerg. There's the command center eventually. I actually think going 4 queens here would be much safer, but apparently Scarlett decides to go for the 3rd hatchery rather than go additional queens. She has seen the additional Reaper right now, I guess, so more and more links have been fired up. 6 links here in total. Scarlett playing a very Korean-esque style. Do love to see that. Now, you don't actually have to obviously make drones over at the 3rd base. You can always just use it for larva production and just use it to produce a lot of Zerglings. Good movement right here on the links as well. Yeah, SpeCial has got something in store for us. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, though. He's going a bunch of Reapers right now, together with Hellions. Sort of like what you would do in a Terran versus Terran. And then I guess a quick Medevac on the back of this, too. Is it a Medevac? No, we're going to go straight into a tech lab here. I mean, it could just be a battlecruiser opener, I suppose. Could also just be Banshees. Okay, now this is really nice right here for the Mexican Terran. Lovely work. Getting one of those queens is painful. And actually, well, link speed finishes up right now, but there may be another queen loss. Scarlett is not going to pull that queen back. It's okay, well, this is not what I expected at all. What is okay. So it's a quick double gas into a 1-1-1 with Reapers, Hellions, and a Raven? This kind of strikes me as a Gumiho special. Or a special Gumiho? Haha. No, but unintentional puns. My favorite type of puns. This is definitely not the norm. Yeah, so I actually really like the Roach Warren here for Scarlett. I think she's planning on going for at least a bunch of them. We could be using them defensively for sure. I think if we would see an all-in, it would probably be off of additional gases here, and there's a very good chance that there would be. I mean, for example, a Banshee, or for example, a battlecruiser. There's the Raven, though. I don't know if Scarlett saw it. Certainly not what you would be expecting here. That add-on in a little bit of trouble. Jimmy the Marine has been tasked with, well, killing those lings, but eventually, it looks like it will fall. At the cost of maybe all of those lings, though. Other than these 2 over here on the right side. Not bad. Raven in the main base, dropping down the auto turret. Did SpeCial accidentally play a Terran versus Terran-esque build in Zerg versus Terran? So the 3rd CC is gonna finish up. Now there's a Banshee on the back of this too. I mean, if this was Gumiho playing, he'd definitely go up Hyperflight Rotors here, okay? I am here for Hyperflight Rotors right now, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe this is SpeCial seeing the Roaches and being a little bit concerned about a Roach attack. Not actually what's happening in this game. 12 drones have been fired up right here by Scarlett. So the problem, right, for Zerg... Okay, 1 Raven goes down. The problem right here for Zerg is that all of the timings that they're used to from Terran are going to be thrown out of the window. So we have Stimpack coming up, but is it going to finish at a conventional moment? Not really. Do we really expect 7 Hellions and 3 Reapers to come in right now? Look at that grenade. Excellent grenade right here. She's trying to go for an evolution chamber block. That's nice and all, assuming you do get the evo chamber block down. Those Roaches don't have their Roach speed upgrade, so they're actually going to be very slow. Raven pops down another auto turret right there in the back, and this is actually so much damage. What in the world was this build right here from SpeCial? It's a special tactic. Widera would be proud. 19 drones right here for 7 Hellions, 3 Reapers, and I guess the Raven went down on the left side. Fair enough. Not bad at all. So in the end, all the roads do just lead towards a normal mid-game. 1-1 has been fired up. We should be seeing combat shields, I guess, after the Stimpack research. Wonder what do you do right now if you're a Zerg player. There's another auto turret, man. These auto turrets are actually dealing a lot of damage. I love how that's become a thing, though, for Terran versus Zerg, right? Terran's just opening up with what is essentially just a 1-1-1. That's a strategy we've been seeing for literally a decade. It's one barracks, one factory, one starport. You make an you make a tech lab here, you make a reactor there. You can kind of just produce anything. But it's kind of cool to see how, yeah, even after so much time, there's still varieties of units that we don't normally see working together. Obviously, with the most recent balance update, we did see a change to the Raven. It's a little bit easier to afford now, but cool start right here from SpeCial for sure. Is he at a very significant advantage? Honestly, not. But again, it's those timings that are completely thrown out of the window, right? So what exactly do you do right now as Zerg? Lair's coming up. Do we go for a Baneling speed still? Is that something that Scarlett can still make and actually get done in time before the Marine push comes in? I honestly don't think so. But against a standard opener, right? A standard 1-1-1 with like a bunch of Hellions, one Reaper, and then maybe a Banshee on the back of it. You know that if you go for like a standard timing on your Lair, you can go for the Baneling speed upgrade and you'll actually finish it by the time the Terran goes for a 1-1 attack. Instead, we're going to be going for a Roach Ravager-based army here. Scarlett has gone for the +1/+1 upgrades for the Roaches and the Ravagers, and the Queens, and the Hydras, and the Lurkers, so that's probably the plan here eventually. We have not seen the Roach speed upgrade start up yet, though. Now, of course, on Royal Blood, there are some really good siege tank positions. SpeCial is going to be well familiar with those as well. Wouldn't mind seeing maybe a bit of an attack here. I mean, we're finished already with the 1-1 research. Combat Shields is not going to be too far behind. Stimpack, of course, already done. There's going to be a lot of Roaches. Still no Roach speed upgrade. That's actually a big mistake right here from Scarlett. Even if she wants to line up all of those upgrades, yeah, now she starts it up. I do think you actually want to fire up that Roach speed upgrade as soon as you can. Because sometimes these fights happen before your upgrades are done. And, I mean, we're still like a minute away from all of that being finished right here for the Zerg. Couple Ravagers here may very well get caught as well. That's a lovely start to this engagement right here for SpeCial. We have a few Marauders in the mix too. I do like that. Honestly, I think there's enough bio to just push through this, right? Banshee coming up as well from the earlier stages of this game. Now the siege tanks are sieged up. Corrosive Balls are going to connect with both of the tanks. Oh, clutch seal. Oh my god, okay, a very clutch save right now for SpeCial. Suddenly realized he had a War Prism available. Decided to pick up those units and drop them down again. Okay, and that's actually going to give this push a lot of staying power. Banshee here helping out as well. Supplementing some damage output, and you know what? With those tanks in the back, I just don't see how Scarlett is going to be able to break that. That came in very clutch. I think if both of the, like that could have gone... That could have been both of the siege tanks together with the medevac, right? And especially this managed to snatch up all of those units barely in time. Could have been an absolute disaster. In the meantime, Scarlett does have the center base coming up as well as the one already on the left side, of course. That one's been mining for a while. Okay, so it's certainly not game over yet, unless Scarlett decides to tap out here. The problem is there's going to be a lot more where this came from. He's even now stimming straight across the map with all of his reinforcements just to try and get him to the battle a little bit quicker. There's a lot of creep spread over here in the center of the map, but SpeCial is ready to just close out this game. Once again, we're picking up the units inside of the medevac before the siege tanks go down. And just like that, it's SpeCial who managed to qualify for the GSL Code S.